All right, guys, welcome back. Today is Friday, the last day of the week. Let's see what new properties came on to the market today. There's 9 properties that we're going to take a look at today and see if any of them make the cut, if any of them are worth investing and putting your money into, or if any of them are even worth driving out to see. So with that being said, just quickly want to go over what we saw yesterday. Interest rates went up again. The 30-year average, fixed rate mortgage in the United States went up to 6.38%. And that is important because we use that in our calculator in order to determine if the deal is good or not. It's not really going to influence the 1% rule because, again, the 1% rule is just based off of the purchase price and whatever rent the property could produce. So in this example, the property is $919,000 and you're collecting $9,200 a month in rent. It's the 1% rule right here, right? But what it will influence is your debt service coverage ratio, which is how much of the rent or how much of your mortgage is the rent actually paying. And of course, with higher interest rates, it's going to cover less of your mortgage. It's going to affect you in that way. So with that being said, again, rates right now are at 6.38, and you can check that out right here. I'll put a link for it if you guys want, but it is right there, right? So it's the Federal Reserve of St. Louis publishes this every single week on Thursdays. We saw it yesterday. And you see the ups and downs over the last 30 years too. Okay. It's been trending downwards, okay, ever since 2023. But as of late, it's been spiking up, right? In this little period here, this little window over the last month. So with that being said, guys, let's jump into the actual market, what it actually looks like out there in the Tri-County area, Miami-Dade, Broward County, and Palm Beach. And today, over the last 7 days, as of today, and over the last 7 days, there have been 2,136 new listings that have hit the market, okay? So new listings, 2,136. And this is what I always check out, guys. How many price decreases are there? And there are 2,112 price decreases. Basically, it's a 1-to-1 for every house being listed. Another seller is saying like, hey, let's decrease the price. So we're continuing to see sellers getting slapped down by the market, being told, no, your house is not worth what you thought it was going to be worth. So keep that in mind, guys, when we look at properties today, because what that actually means, it translates into you have negotiating power. This is a buyer's market, right? When you see as many price decreases as properties hitting the market, guess what? You're in a buyer's market. So with that being said, let's take a look at the properties for today, right? So we're going to click here, new multifamilies in the last 24 hours. And so you guys are seeing my MLS at the same time that I am seeing it. Let's go ahead and put a summarized version of this. Okay, I like to sort by square feet. So we'll start here in Miami-Dade. This is an expensive property per the square foot, but the price overall is not too terrible. $675, 1, 2, 3. Taxes are paying $5,018 in taxes. The property is only 810 square feet, which I doubt. They probably listed something wrong here. It's probably double that. And so that's probably why the price seems to be so high per square foot. But let's check it out. But before we do, let's take a look at the pictures. I always like to look at the picture. So it's a dated product, guys. You're going to have to come in here and you're going to have to do some lifting, some heavy lifting. This looks like 1970s, right? Like that's how they built it. That's how they're selling it. On the outside, it looks good. The few pictures that they have, but I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to put some money into this. So don't expect that you're just gonna grab this and rent it at market price at $675. There's gonna be additional money that goes into this property. Let's look at the guts of the deal and see if we can find out how much this could probably rent for. Okay, so a duplex near downtown Miami, okay, in an up-and-coming neighborhood called Alapata, okay, near the Civic Center in Miami downtown, Little Havana, Miami Beach, yada yada yada. So they're saying that it's a total of 5 bedrooms and 3 baths, and it has 2,000 square feet. Okay, so right off the bat, we know that they list the property incorrectly. Okay, it's on a 2,000 square foot lot, or it's 2,000 square feet. So this real estate agent doesn't know probably what property he's selling, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's jump into this right here. Okay, so red flag, guys, big red flag, right? This is actually not even a duplex. They're listing it as a duplex. but it's really, it's a residential single family home. We'll come back down here. We'll see that, yeah, there's nothing, one unit, okay? And the building, just FYI, if the realtors out there listening, it's 1,125 square feet, the house that you're selling. So that's funny. All right, so that's that, guys. So obviously this is a red flag. So first property that we see, Miami-Dade County, they want $675,000. It's a big red flag because it's not even a duplex, right? They listed a single family home and they're trying to pass it off as a duplex. So next, put a big fat fail for that. We've analyzed 1 out of 9 properties today. Okay, we're gonna go ahead, refine, we're gonna discard this property. Okay, we saw this property yesterday. You know, we can go back here and look at the, right, that they want $1.3 million. But this property doesn't make sense just because it's not even a real triplex. It's part of a sixplex, right? So if you join us guys here for the first time, we saw this property yesterday. Unit count, 6 one-bedroom units, 2 studios, 2 efficiencies, offering a highly desirable rental profile, okay? So that's not even accurate, right? Because look how much they're renting this stuff for, right? So that's impossible that they're renting a 1-1 for $5,000, right? So this is just a hard pass. And I don't even know why it comes up on our feed because it's set up for the last 24 hours and we see here that it's 2, but eventually we failed this property yesterday. Nothing's changed. We'll fail it again today. All right, so we'll go ahead, call this one a fail and discard it from our list as well. Okay, guys, so we're back in Miami-Dade County. Let's look at just the deal, the summary of the deal. They want $1.495 million, basically $1.5 million. They're currently paying $11,356 a year in taxes, square feet, 2,736 square feet. It's a triplex, they tell us. And they say that they're getting $5,000 a month in rent. Okay, if that's the case, this is a hard pass, but let's take a look at the pictures. Let's make sure that, you know, there's nothing that was listed incorrectly where it could be an advantage for us. Right? A lot of times realtors will post information that's just, I don't know if their assistants do it or whatever, but I mean, this property is really pretty. This was probably an Airbnb, okay? And I'm sure they're gonna try to sell it to you as like, hey, great income producing property. Let's look at the details. Let's look at the guts of this deal. Rare opportunity to own a 3-unit compound in it's a compound now. And a highly sought after East Shenandoah, built originally in 1926, this old Spanish gem, yada, 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 yada. We don't care about any of this. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it looks nice, it's presentable, but does it make money? Does it make money? They say it's a 3-1. The owner lives in the 3-1, and there's 2 1-1s. The 2 1-1s rent at $2,500, right? And this is what I mean, guys, right? There's a 3rd unit, and the 3rd unit is a 3-1. What could that 3-1 rent for if the 1-1s are renting for $2,500, right? So just so you have an idea, guys, this is in Miami-Dade County again, but if you look right here, I pulled up for our convenience the median, minimum and maximum price ranges for apartments in Miami-Dade County. And 3-1s, okay, the median price is going for $2,700. 1-1s are going on average for $1,600. I do not believe that they're getting actually $2,500 for those 1-1s. Why? Because the maximum for 1-1s for rent in Miami-Dade County are going for a product that's like in duplex kind of world are going for $2,350, right? And believe it or not, guys, there's duplexes out there that are oceanfront duplexes, like waterfront duplexes. Like you open up your door to your backyard and you have your boat, right? It's not gonna be a huge boat. It's gonna be, you know, 20, 21 foot, like, you know, cruiser or whatever, but it's not this property. I don't think that they could actually get $2,500 a month unless they're Airbnb-ing, and those are not the kind of conditions that we want to make our analysis off of. We want to make our analysis off of long-term rents. So for that reason, I'm actually gonna put a red flag on this and also say, hey, I don't think that you could get $2,300 or $2,500. You're probably getting $2,100 at best. And again, you got to do your research. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does rent it out for $2,500. I want to see those leases though, right? I want to see those leases and I want to see that rent roll. So we're going to put it here at $2,300, right? And that 3.1, what I actually think it could rent out for, right? $2,700, but let's say it's actually, he rents it out for $3,100. Just giving him the benefit of the doubt. Okay. So even if we give him the benefit of the doubt, right? This property makes no sense. Even if we put his numbers, for crying out loud, right? And let's say we gave him the max for the 3.1, $3,800. This is a stinker of a deal. So this duplex in a highly sought after area in Miami-Dade is going to lose you money every single month. So that's a hard pass for us. Next, let's discard this property. On to our next. Still in Miami-Dade, still above $1 million. You know, crazy. 1.698 million. Current property taxes are $14,040. Okay, square feet, 3,250 square feet. They're saying it's a duplex. They don't tell us how much the rents are. They do tell us in a flood zone X, which is the best kind of flood zone you could possibly be in. Right, it's in Coral Gables, so it's a good area, right? Everybody knows Coral Gables. Let's see what they actually say about the deal. Fully leased and income producing, this exceptional duplex zone property in sought after South Coral Gables presents a rare investment and lifestyle opportunity. Situated on an expansive 10,000 basically square foot lot, the property features two spacious. All right, so here's what they tell us. It's two spacious, 4-bedroom, 2-bath residences. So assuming that they're split 50-50, each one is probably around like 1,600 square feet. Not bad, right? Especially in Coral Gables. It's a 4-2, okay? Now the question is, how much could you rent these out for, okay? Guys, for this property to make sense, you would need to be making about $17,000 a month in rent, which means that each side you would have to rent it like at $8,500 for this to be a 1% kind of a property, right? And would you really pay $8,500 for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath in Coral Gables? I don't know. And being a duplex, like share a wall with somebody, I don't know. I think that you could probably say that you could pay $4,500, right, in Coral Gables to live that life. But I mean, that's that. Apart from that, like, go get your own single family house somewhere else. So again, this property makes no sense whatsoever. It wouldn't even cover the mortgage on this property. So again, this beautiful duplex in Coral Gables does not meet our standard, and that's the reason that it has to go. That's another red one for us. All right, well, hopefully there's some deals today, guys. Shoot. All right. Our next deal brings us to Broward County, $895,000. Taxes, $4,989. Square feet, $1,836. Whoops. Do they tell us? It's a triplex. That's nice. They don't tell us how much the rents are. Let's take a quick look at the pictures. All right, guys. So there's a nice fence. The roof looks new. The property looks nice. It's a corner lot. They're close to the ocean. So it's a good, probably in a good area, good location. Okay. They have a nice little backyard here. Curious if that's for a septic tank or it's just open space. Doesn't look bad. All right. The inside doesn't look bad either. Okay. Spacious bedrooms. Look at this, guys. This is interesting. It's a dated bathroom, but it actually, they pulled it off. It looks, I mean, I like it. Not bad. Again, dated bathroom, but they're making it look nice. This is a little Photoshop. It's got a little bit of that gleam to the pictures. You know what I'm saying? It's just cleaned up. Just a little bit. But I like it. All right. Let's see if it actually makes sense. Because they don't tell us how much the rents are. Let's look at the guts of this deal. They say located and highly desirable. Everywhere is highly desirable, guys. Every real estate agent's property is a very desirable area. This owner-occupied property presents an exceptional opportunity for both investors and owner-occupants seeking income potential. Legally a duplex, but currently operated as a triplex. Okay, guys, so you're going to buy an illegal triplex, okay? You could operate it that way. You just can't buy this as an FHA. Just heads up, right? So another little red flag there. But all right, so offers a versatile layout featuring a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit, a 1-1, and a studio, ideal for house hacking or maximizing rental income. Major improvements have already been completed, including a roof that's just 4 years old and waste lines replaced only 2 years ago. Waste lines leading to a septic tank. Okay. So all that being said, guys, let's see what they're collecting for in rent. They're saying that for the studio, they're getting $1,000 in rent. Oops, 1,000. They're saying for the 1-1, they're getting $1,550. And they're saying for the 2-2, the owner probably lives in it. Okay, so the 1-1, they're getting $1,550. This is in we were in Broward, right? Yep. So Broward County, right? The 1-1. $1,550. See, you guys, pretty much the median, what it goes for, $1,600, $1,500, $1,550. So we could say that pretty sure that the 2-2 is going to go for a little bit more than $1,960, somewhere between $1,960 and $3,000. I would say that the marginal benefit for that additional bathroom is probably going to be about another $200. That's what I think somebody would pay to have that, maybe per month, maybe $150. So I would say that for that 2-2, you could probably get giving him the benefit of the doubt, let's say $2,160. So we'll put that in here, $2,160. Yeah, wants to cooperate. There we go. Which would bring our total rental or revenue to $4,700, right? For that reason, this property is nowhere near the 1% rule, right? You're collecting $4,700 where we need it to collect around $9,000 a month. So it's nowhere near that. It wouldn't even cover your mortgage, even if you put a 25% down payment. So for that reason, this really pretty duplex in Fort Lauderdale does not work. It's a next. And a fail in our screen. All right. Next property up. We're back to Miami-Dade. Price point $750,000. Current taxes are $8,045. Square feet, it's an average size duplex at almost 1,800 square feet, but it's a 4-plex. So these rooms are going to be tiny. All right. But they're telling us that they're getting $6,000 a month in rent, and that it's a flood zone AE, so you're going to pay a little bit of a premium for being in that flood zone. Okay, but let's put 6,000 up here on the board, and then we'll update it as needed as we go through the deal. But right off the bat, right, it doesn't look like it's a wholly terrible deal. Let's see if there's anything that is a red flag. Yeah, so that's a red flag. It's boarded up, and the roof looks like shit, and it's got like these box windows. But guys, these are all good negotiation points, right? So just don't write it off. Like, red flags could be your friend if you know how to use them. So let's look at the guts of the deal. It's in Miami-Dade. They're saying it's a 4-plex. This is it, and there's nothing else like it, he says. 4-unit multifamily as sale right now in one of Miami's hottest and fastest growing corridors. There is 0 4-unit multifamily inventory in the market in this area. None. This is it. It sounds like what do you call it? That guy from Fallout, like Reverend Bobby Billy, whatever his name is, dude. This is hilarious. I love realtors. Here's what the numbers tell you. This property has never had a vacancy problem. All 4 units have been historically rented with ease. Tenants find it, stay in the building, stays full. That's the market speaking for itself. Today the units are vacant. However, today this is not the case. Not because demand dried up, but because the property sustained damage and needs renovations. Once it's restored, it goes right back to doing what it's always done, staying occupied. But let's be honest, deals like this are not easy to find anymore. Multifamily at a true discount has become nearly impossible to source in today's market. Owners are holding inventory as tight, and when something does surface, it's gone. If this is such a great deal, why is the owner getting rid of it? But let's look into the deal, guys. All right, only 4-unit multifamily available. Blah 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 blah. All right, blah 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 blah. Okay, so they're saying there's 4-bedroom, 4 baths. You can get up to $6,000 a month in rent. So we see that the guy talks a lot on the listing. We got to assume that these rents are probably near the highest that the market could afford, if not higher. Let's make sure this is a multifamily property. It is. And is it a quad? It is. Okay, so it's listed correctly. It is the quad, built in 1953. Cool. The question is, how much could you get for this, guys? Right? So we said it's in Miami-Dade County. He says it's a desirable area. I'll leave that up for you guys, right? Or your real estate agent to decide how good of an area it is. This is something that's going to require some homework right off the bat. But let's look at the averages just to see if he's full of it or if it's accurate. Okay, so 1-1s. If there are 4 1-1s and you rent them each out at a median of $1,600, then he could be accurate. Then he could be right. So the question is the price and the repairs that are needed worth it? What's the condition on the inside look like? So this could be a real good deal, guys. This could be a real good deal. He might be not wrong about what he's saying. Maybe a little bit like slick in the way that he presents it, but don't let that throw you off. I would say this is a property worth looking at. Why? Because most people, especially most first-time investors, they're gonna run away from this. They're gonna say boarded up windows, that's scary. I don't know what I'm walking into, right? So you want to have somebody that you hold your hand and walks you through this, okay? An inspector, or just go to the property and check it out for yourselves, guys. Find yourself a real estate agent that has, invested in property, that has investment property himself. Gear yourself up and go see if this deal makes sense for you. Because if you could knock this price down to, this guy really wants to get rid of it, right? And he just wants to walk away, and you give him $650 and he takes it, then this is a slam dunk deal. This, even if you buy this FHA, you would be cash flowing after day one. So for that reason, I would say that this Miami quad is something that you really want to look into. All right. So I'm not going to say it's a slam dunk, but this Miami quad is something that you definitely want to do some research. Pull up the rents on realtor.com. Have your real estate agent pull up the closed rents in that area. Go to Facebook Marketplace, see what houses are being rented for in that area. And if you pull comparable saying that you could get these rents maybe even higher, then it's even more of a reason to look into this property. So for that reason, this property is not a slam dunk, but it is a go see it, investigate a little bit more. Let's take a look at our next property. Okay, so our next property brings us back to Broward County. This time, again, over the $1 million asking price. It just doesn't make sense to me. But okay, $16,851 in property taxes, square feet, 2,818. It's a fourplex, so maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance for this property. Let's see. The roof doesn't look like it's new, but okay. Doesn't look terrible either, although there's this spot here. Is it like fronds from the palm tree that have fallen onto it, or is it just it's in disrepair? Okay. Looks good. Looks nice. Looks nice. This is a nice property. Looks like a nice property. Okay. on the inside, it could use some work. So if they're getting a certain amount of rent and they're getting that rent with these finishes, if you fix it up a little bit, you could more than likely secure more rent. Okay. Bathrooms are dated. Okay. All right. Well, let's see what they say. Let's look at the guts of this deal. Oops. Here we go. Okay, so exceptional income producing fourplex in prime Fort Lauderdale location. Each unit currently configured as a spacious 2-bedroom, 1-bath, offering approximately 658 square feet. That's not spacious. I would say it's cutting it on small. Perfect for maximizing rental income. This property is ideal for both Airbnb, short-term rentals with long-term cash flow, located in a high-demand area close to the beaches, shopping, dining, blah, 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 major highways. All right, cool. So what are they saying? They're saying that you could get $3,000 per unit, guys. $3,000 for each one. What do you guys think about that? Sus, right? So this guy obviously knows about the 1% rule because he made it so that all of them are exactly his asking price, right? Which in that case, yeah, this property would be a slam dunk. It would be a slam dunk. However, guys, what's the case with this property? Okay. He's saying that it's for 2-bedroom, 1-bath. The median price for 2-bedroom, 1-bath in Broward County is $1,960. The max is $3,000. And $3,000 again is for product that's like awesome. Baller product, okay? So I'm not saying maybe the location is amazing. And maybe it's so amazing that it warrants $3,000 for a smaller side 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. So I'm not going to say like, hey, this guy's full of it. There's a chance that he actually rents them out. I would bet to say that if you call this guy, he's going to tell you that this is what he's getting on average, right? If you spread it out when he Airbnbs it. But the question is also, what are his costs when he Airbnbs? So it's a completely different formula. When we analyze property, we analyze to make sure that you're going to be able to cash flow when you buy this when you buy this and you rent it out on long-term leases, right? Because if in a given year, the tourism industry is fantastic in Miami and in Broward and Palm Beach, you could decide to Airbnb it and kill it that year and do great. But when the economy slows down as it is right now, you want to make sure that you have long-term tenants in place that are going to be able to pay your mortgage for you. So for that reason, I think that this is definitely a property that you got to do some more diligence on. I wouldn't say it's if it does rent out for $3,000 each side, it's a home run, right? But I think that more than likely this rents out for the median, which is around like 1960, especially with the condition. It's a little bit older. It's not like super new. And if that were the case, this property is in the red, right? All of a sudden it's in the red. So for that reason, it could go either way. I would say that this is another property that you want to go take a look at. Not personally, but do your homework on and see how much the rents go for in that area, and then make your decision if you want to actually go see it. By the way, I don't know why I deleted this, but today we're seeing 9 properties. So there it is up on the ticker. All right, guys. So that's that property. Our next property. We're still in Broward County, but this time the price point is considerably different, $540,000. Okay, they're paying currently $9,599 a year in taxes, and the duplex is 2,142 square feet, which is nice size for a duplex. We saw this property before. I wonder if it got relisted or something. So it looks like a single family home. Hopefully I am wrong. I forgot. Let's see, Deerfield. It's a multifamily. Okay. Multifamily, 2 units, listed correctly. Okay. Did they change something about it? No, they say it's a 3-3 rented at 21. Oh, they don't tell us. It's a 3-3 and a 1-1. Okay. So it has 1 day on the market. Maybe that's why it came up on our list again. But a 3-3, guys, in let's see, Deerfield, right? So 2,700 on average, okay? But since it's a 3-3, let's give them another $100, another $150. And the 1-1 median, $1,600. Okay, guys. So this is another property that you want to go be able to see. Right? It's not a slam dunk. It's not a, hey, this property doesn't work. At a 1.1 DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, it means that if you put a 25% down payment loan on this, and you could prove that the rents are $2,850 and $1,600, a bank will lend you money more than likely, right? Once it gets to that 1.1, they're starting to like, it's easier for you to get money at not crazy high interest rates, okay, with using DSCR loans, but they would need to verify these rents for you, right? And it would take you, so you would be cash flowing on day one with this kind of a property. But again, if you even buy this with a 20% down property, you would be cash flowing after a year and a half. It's not my favorite. The numbers don't look that good. There's properties that we've seen in the last week that, the DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, is 1.25, and higher. So it's not my favorite, but maybe if you're in the Deerfield area and you really want to have property there, it might be something that might interest you. And so for that reason, this Deerfield duplex, we're going to go ahead and say it's worth looking into as well. All right, guys, down to our last property for the day. Let's take a look at where it takes us. The listing agent didn't put how many square feet it was in total. So, but we know it's a duplex. And we know that the purchase price or the asking price is 1,148. So $1.15 million. Okay, property taxes are currently paying $13,371 in property taxes. Square feet, we don't know. Let's find out. But they're telling us that they're collecting $45.90 a month in rent. Let's make sure the listing agent put that correctly. But if that's the case, this property is a big fat fail. Let's take a quick look at the pictures first. Okay, so this is not a rendering. It looks really nice. It's so square. Looks like a rendering. Is it just me, guys, or that looks like a rendering? They probably cleaned it up using Canva or something. But on the inside, it's dated. Okay, the bathrooms look semi-renovated. The floors could use some help. Okay. Okay. Look at this, guys. Look at the fence, guys. It just needs some basic pressure washing, dude. You're going to sell the place. So, looks like it's Little Havana. So, yes, it's a desirable area. But let's see the guts of this deal. I wonder what they have to say. Phenomenal duplex opportunity in prime Miami location. It is in a good location. Okay. Featuring 2 spacious 3-bedroom, 2 baths, offering a combined 2,393 square feet of living on a 7,400 square foot lot. Yada, 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 new AC, new roof. Okay. They're saying that 132 rents for 1,600 and that the other 32 rents for $29.90. So what I can tell you guys here is that if these really are 232s, which I think it has a space to, be 2 3-bedroom, 2 baths. Let's make sure that this is a duplex, first of all, and not a single family home that we're trying to get duped into. Okay, yeah, it is a duplex. I think that you could get much higher rents than this, right? The problem is that the price that they're asking for, right, does not make up for that. Even if you got $5,000 a month in rent for each one of these 3 2s, right? Yeah, you wouldn't even make it to the 1% of the 1%. Like, you wouldn't be in the 1% rule, right? A 1% rule usually means that you're going to be like, if you bought this using FHA, you'd be cash flowing pretty soon. And again, you wouldn't cash flow on this property, even if you could get $5,000 for rent for each side. If you bought this using FHA, you would never. It would take you 4 years before you saw a penny. So for that reason, I don't think that you could get these rents. I think the most that you could possibly get for a 3-2 in Little Havana is probably around like $4,000. Okay. and that would put it at right at the 0.7 for the 1% rule. The DSCR 1.15. You might want to take a look at it, guys. I mean, but for me, this is going to be a no. Just because you're also going to have to put some work into the house. I mean, on the inside, I mean, on the outside, it's nice, but the inside needs some work. Okay, especially if you want to rent it at the highest that the market could possibly go for in that area. So you're gonna have to put another, like, I don't know, $50,000 on each side, I would say. So another 100K in total. Until you would be here, it pushes you into the red. For me, this property is a pass. So with that being said, guys, for today, we analyzed 9 properties. 3 properties are maybes. 6 properties are a definite no. There was no clear winner today, but that's what we got to do every day. We got to keep coming back here, seeing what property really is worth it. And if there's one that's really worth it, you got to go out there and you got to go take a look at it. You got to take advantage of it, because these properties do not last. If there's a good deal, good deals don't last. And marginal deals, like the ones that we saw today, these 3 that are close, you want to follow these properties. You want to call the agents. You want to build that relationship, because as the price drops, you want to have that leverage of like, hey, I know you. Hey, we've been talking. Hey, let's close the deal, right? And you could actually be extending deals from now. And hopefully the guy gets tired and says like, hey, you know what? I'll sell you this house for, if you had it at 750, maybe he really needs the money. And he says like, dude, just take the 550 offer and let's go. And all of a sudden you have an amazing deal on your lap. Then all you got to do is close. So that being said, guys, let me know if there's any questions that you might have about how the calculator works, about any of these properties. If there's a property that you want me to analyze on air, just put it in the comments and I'll analyze it tomorrow. That being said, I'm signing off, and have a great